Hi guys, in this video, in our first lecture, we are going to see what's meant by the motion. So actually you have already heard of this term motion. Have you ever thought of what's meant by this motion? So motion is very simple in physics, the basic term in physics, which means if a particle moves from one place to another, it's known as motion. So it's going to move from one place to another one. So here in kinematics, we are going to take two separate portions of that motion. The first one is linear motion. The second one is rotational motion. When we are considering about the linear motion, it's very simple. You can actually see from this term linear, which means it's going to be in a straight line, which means the path is going to be as a straight line. So this is known as linear motion. In this course, we are going to learn in depth what's the quantities we are going to calculate in linear motion as well as in rotational motion too. So when we are considering about the rotational motion, as you can see from this term, if an object, if a particle rotates in an axis, we are going to call as rotational motion. Just like Earth. Actually, we knew that Earth is rotating from its axis, from its own axis. So consider a sphere. What it's going to do is it's going to turn around in its own axis. So let's say this is an axis. So the Earth is going to rotate like this side. So this is known as rotational motion. So this is the basic concept of motion. So here we have divided into two parts, two main sections, which we are going to study further in the next lessons. First one is linear and second one is rotational. So however, these are the main important things. But when we are defining about the linear, it's very simple to think like this. Let's say there is a particle. We can actually divide it into many small particles. Even a very normal particle, we are going to divide it into many particles, small particles. Let's say this is one particle and another one is second particle. So when we are considering about the motion of each and every particle, it's going to be like this. If the total box, let's say this is a box, so if the box is moving in a linear motion, the paths of every single particles would be in a straight line. So here, what's the definition for the linear motion is, if the particles, the paths of each particle is parallel to each other, we are going to call it as linear. So this is a basic definition for linear. You don't need to memorize it. It's very simple to remember what's meant by that linear. Likewise, if we consider a particle, every particle in this rotational motion, if the particle in that body, if we consider many particles in that same body, the particle in each particle is going to rotate, each particle is going to rotate from its own center is going to be the same. The center is going to be the same, but the radius might be changing. So if you consider a plate like this, a dish or disc, so if the disk is rotating in this position from its own axis, so if we consider a particle A inside this and the another particle B little bit out than that A point, actually the center is going to be same for these two particles A and B. However, the radius is different. So it's going to rotate. Likewise, the A particle is also going to rotate from the same center. If it happens, we are going to call that motion as rotational motion. These are the main things you need to know about the motion. So I hope this video would be clear for you. In the next video, we are going to look at the linear motion. Thank you.